So all day, and I do mean all day, I've been running on an empty battery, right? Uh I was sleep deprived last night because I didn't remember my own understanding and my own knowledge and my own, teachings. And I didn't prepare myself. I did everything I wasn't supposed to do to not be able to go to sleep. And the sad thing is, this is one of the things that I did know because, whether you realize it or not, sleep is psychological, right? It really is. Sleep is psychological. And there are psychological things that go with falling comfortably to sleep and sleep deprivation. I did not sleep hardly at all last night because I had I didn't I didn't wind my mind down. That was the main thing. I did not wind my mind down. And so when you don't do that, and then you don't do any of the other things that you can do to calm your mind, calm your body, put your body in a position to go to sleep comfortably, you end up restless, you end up sleep deprived, and you get up the next day groggy, you got an attitude, you're temperamental. It's a lot of bad things that go on due to due to sleep deprivation. Like you, like I said, you're running on an empty battery for the rest of your next day when you do not get a proper amount of sleep. There are people who believe that they function better sleep deprived. To those people, I say to each his or her own, right? Because psychologically, that's not true. Like uh if you believe you can go, I mean, and once you're awake and you're going, you may can do that. You may still be able to function at a um semi or seemingly high level, having not been to sleep, right? But once that battery is drained, you might can still move, but your thinking is going to be impaired. Your memory is going to be impaired. There's a lot of things that's going to be impaired. You're going to have a cognitive fog, is what it's called in psychology. You're going to have a cognitive fog because you are not getting the proper amount of sleep. So, uh, it's going to impair your brain. Sleep deprivation is going to impair your brain, kind of like uh alcohol would, right? Okay, wait, let me say it again because that's not necessarily true. It's gonna impair your brain like consuming a lot of alcohol would. Like if you were drunk, right? That's how you feel when you're drunk, and that's how the next day of sleep deprivation affects you. That's that no battery power affecting you, right? So I bet you I get some sleep tonight. I guarantee you, to sleep. The kid gonna sleep tonight. You know what I'm saying? My my sleep blood alcohol level is gonna be zero because I'm gonna do everything that I need to do to take my butt to sleep because I was irritable today. feel like I feel like Eddie Murphy once again. I have been having a very bad day. Already, I've been shot at. I've been on the bus, flipped over 17 times. Bitch trying to stab me in the bathroom. Somebody blew up my Porsche. If you don't know what that's from, you're a child. Anyway, so so yeah, I'm gonna give me some sleep. Now, to that end, I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks as to if you find yourself needing to get to sleep, but your brain is working like mine was last night. Like, the one of the main reasons why I could not go to sleep is my brain. I did not begin the cognitive shutdown of my brain. So my brain just kept firing. It just kept popcorning. Like, I'm thinking this and this and this and this and ooh and ooh ooh and ooh and ooh. I gotta do this and ooh I gotta do that. And then where am I going? And then I gotta get. And so that's what my brain was doing, right? And thusly, I could not go to sleep because of all this mental popcorn, right? All this mental popcorn was disallowing me to go to sleep, right? Um, and so all day, or rather, it led to all day. Not I'm gonna say all day, but for the better part of my day. And here's the crazy thing. One of and this is just it's just weird how the mind and the body works, man. I worked out this morning, so I do a fitness class, and I'm thinking, man, I am not going to be able to do this class. I am entirely too tired, entirely too sleep deprived to do this class. But as the time to do the class came nearer and nearer, I was like, I might be able to pull this off. So I start stretching, you know, um, start loosening up, bam, bam. And by the time it was actually time to do the class, and I started doing the class, I'm like maybe 5 minutes into it, not really feeling it yet. But uh, but after the warm up, once we got to the actual work portion of the workout and the exercise, the kid was good. I was straight. So that's one of the things, yeah, a light workout, a brisk workout, you know, can help wake you up for a moment until your body relaxes, right? Your body's gonna relax. Uh uh and then you're gonna get sleepy all over again. It might take a while, but moral of the story is you need sleep. Sleep is important. Sleep, the time that you are resting. And I would say at night, but some people, whenever it is that you rest, whenever it is that you drift off, right? That is the time that you save all of the important things that you needed to remember. You save all of those things that you learned during the day when you go to sleep. You know, that's like your save as button. When you go to sleep, your mind hits the save as button, and that's when you save all the stuff that you learned that day. Sleep deprivation causes you to delete a lot of that stuff. You cannot remember. That's that mental mind fog that I was talking about. So, uh, like I said, I'm gonna do all the things tonight to go to sleep. I'm going to put my phone far away from me. There is no screen time a half hour before I'm about to go to sleep. I'm going to defrag my brain so that I am not thinking of the things that I need to do because I've already written them down. Like when I'm about to go to sleep, I'm about to write down all the things that I need to think about. So bam, I'm not thinking about them. They're not popcorning as I'm trying to go to sleep. You know, I'm a take me a warm shower and make sure that the area that I'm in is cool. See, that's another thing I did last night. I was cold last night, and so I turned on the heater and had the heater burning, had the heater pushing right at me. Bad move. Bad move. That was one of the main reasons why I could not go to sleep because I was warm. You can't get the proper circadian rhythm when you're warm or you're hot. You need to be cool. Your environment needs to be a cooler environment for you to be able to more easily drift to sleep. All right. Tonight's show, I'm talking about a lot of things that there's no necessarily set topic. These are just things that I wish that I knew when I was younger, but it's still okay that I learned them in my older age. And these are things I'm trying to relate to you tonight on Notoriously Opinionated. Let's go. All right. So I don't know in what order I'm gonna do this, so I'm just gonna kind of this is again some popcorn stuff. So as they come to my mind, as I think of them or as I see them, that's how I'm gonna rattle them off. But I think the first thing that I'm gonna get to that I wish I knew when I was younger. No, no, because I knew this, I just didn't adhere to it. And there's a difference. You can know something and not necessarily know the depth of what you know, and thus you don't do. I knew this, but I didn't know the depth of what I knew. And I didn't know necessarily, and I ain't gonna say I didn't know, I did not have the heart to implement it when I was younger as I do now. I'm still not great at it, right? But I know when to apply it and I know when to give grace. But the number one thing that I wish I knew how to apply, this is going to be one of the ones that I knew, but one that I wish I knew how to apply better when I was younger, was the understanding that no is a complete sentence. Let that sink in, and I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. No is a complete sentence. Now, the times that I have implemented that when I was younger, in my 30s, and now, right? People would think that I would be either playing or excessively mean because that's all I would say. Like, I am an explanatory person. I want you to understand what I'm saying when I'm speaking to you. So, I will explain a thing that I want you to understand in triplicate. I'm going to explain this thing to you at least 2 or 3 different ways to make sure that you understand until there's a boundary. And when there's a boundary that I'm trying to set, there is no long explanation because 9 times out of 10, I've probably already explained it ad nauseum, right? And for those of you who have not read the dictionary like I have, ad nauseum means to a disgusting or embarrassing degree, right? To a degree, to a ridiculous degree, right? Meaning, if I say, I have explained this to you ad nauseum, that means I have explained this to you to a ridiculous degree, to a exhausting degree, right? I've explained this to you ad nauseum. Ad nauseum, the word of the day. All right. So, what else? Yeah. So when I would get to no, it would be this da 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 da. No, to me, I'm wondering why we have not progressed within the conversation because you asked me a question, I said no. Next topic. But there's always that dreaded word, why? Pause. Uh, and this is why people think I'm a jerk sometimes. People that don't know me. Nah, even people that do know me. People that don't understand me. Bam. If you do not understand me, right? You think I'm a jerk when I do this. Da 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 da. No. Why? Okay, let's pause right there. Uh Regardless of what I say, my answer is still no. So is the understanding of why it's no gonna make you feel any better about it still being no? Or are you asking me why, hoping that hearing my reason makes me change my mind? Because it's not. It's not. It's still no. Is there anything that I can say that will make you feel better about this no? Probably not. Oh, well, there it is then. All right. Next. Consistency beats intensity, right? If you do something intensely, like just you go, right? Let's say a workout. I know y'all thought I was gonna say something else. Get your head out the gutter. Little dirty little minds. Anyway, let's say we working out. If you're working out and you work out, okay, you got 2 subjects. Subject A, subject B. Subject A works out once a week for 3 hours, right? Subject B works out 5 days a week, 20 minutes. Who's getting the more consistent gains? The one who's working out hard for 3 hours on Sundays, or the one who works out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for 20 minutes, right? That's not even as long of a time period as the one that's working out for 3 hours. He's working out for 3 hours, just going. I remember those days. I remember those 3 hour workouts. That crap is ridiculous, you know. Uh Again, wish I knew this when I was younger. Did not. Was out there working out like a maniac for 3 hours. And then when I got older, I realized that and the thing was, I'm working out every day for and no wonder my muscles got shot. Anyway, working out or doing anything consistently, if you just do it consistently, that's gonna beat out doing it like this mass of doing once. That's not going to be as productive. You're going to be more productive being consistent, because that consistency is going to turn, how did the phrase go? The thought manifests as the word manifests as the deed develops in the habit, and the habit hardens into character. When you're starting to do things consistently, that is the habit, right? That's where the habit is formed, through the consistency of a thing, right? Because then that habit will harden into your character. If you're only doing something once, procrastination has far more of a chance to set in as the person that's doing this thing every day, 5 days a week, just not as much time. But here's what happens: that 20 minutes may turn into 25 minutes, could turn into 30 minutes, could turn into 45 minutes, and those gains just keep on growing, right? Versus the one that's working out for 3 hours, they may realize 3 hours is too long, so they may drop it down to 2 hours. Then they may drop it down to an hour, but it's still only once a day. Next thing you know, they're not working out at all. That goes with a lot of different things in life. If you just be consistent with it, consistency beats intensity. So that's something else that I wish I knew earlier in life, that, just okay. Next thing. No, I ain't doing that one. I ain't doing that one yet. Oh, since we're talking about working out, here's another one. Your diet does not just consist of what you eat. Your diet is what you consume, not just what you eat. It's what you consume, right? Let me break that down. All right. If you consume a bunch of bull crap on TV, if you consume a bunch of bull crap on social media, if you consume a bunch of bull crap from your family, from your friends, from your childhood trauma, from your ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, from your uh uh abusive siblings, abusive parents, abusive teachers, abusive whatever it is that you allow yourself to still constantly consume and hold on to, not let it digest, it's not good. That's your diet. That is your diet, because that's what you are consuming, right? You can eat all of the apples and the bananas and the oranges and the greens and the kale that you want. Doesn't matter if you're consuming a bunch of bull crap in the rest of your life, right? Your body may be slim, but your mind and your spirit is fat as hell. So understand that, right? You have to watch what you watch. You have to watch what you read. You have to watch what you eat. Ask all the Trump supporters. Like, I'm not talking about MAGA. I'm not talking about MAGA because MAGA doesn't care. Like, they are blindly loyal. They are blindly loyal to the tangerine tyrant, right? Blindly loyal. They don't care. So we're not talking to them. They are the lost generation. They are the lost cause of the Confederacy. That's what they are. They are the lost cause of the Confederacy, right? And uh like, I don't need a tangent. I really don't, but I must. Uh but I'm not going to tangent. It's not going to be a complete tangent. Just a little tangent because it's going to be a tangent that you got homework on. Watch the I want to say she's not the she's the she's in Trump's cabinet, right? I just seen it on CNN. I think it was this morning. No, it was yesterday morning. Seeing on CNN this morning, she gave a whole year-long interview with Vanity Fair, and she's like, she's in Trump's cabinet, and was talking about how Trump acts like he's drunk all the time, even though he doesn't drink. Like, he is sober as a, he doesn't drink. So the fact that he still acts like he's drunk is crazy. You know what I'm saying? The fact that he doesn't drink. But your MAGA Republicans don't care about any of that. But they'll take something that they read about a Democrat and go and spin it and go ham with it, right? But I'm talking about just your mainstay Republicans, right? When they read and heard, mainly heard, because let's face it, they wasn't reading nothing. Let's just keep it a buck. They wasn't reading nothing. Like, Trump's first and his second term, I read the New York Stock Exchange report of his budget plan. Was not impressed. At the same time, during his first election, I wasn't impressed with Hillary's neither. They looked pretty much the same. I read them both. You know what I'm saying? It didn't look much different. Like, the only main difference was, the top down type stuff. But when you read the verbiage and when you're actually reading it versus hearing somebody recite it to you, it hits different because you're reading the words. It's like, other than this first little paragraph, that looked the same. Anywho, so it's not about what they read, it's about what they heard. And they heard Trump saying, talking, what I'm saying, to his base. You heard him talking to the not the SS, talking to his base about his plans for this Holocaust. For his presidency, and his dictatorship. And so these are the things that they did not want to hear because he masked it so well, right? But he hit all the notes that he had to hit. That boy's speeches was like a Whitney Houston song, And okay, I ain't gonna do it. But that's how it hit, That's really how it hit. And then he got the votes. And then he got elected. And then he doubled back on everything. Well, I ain't gonna say he doubled back on everything he said, because he really kind of didn't double back on the main things that he said. See, The things that he said to draw a MAGA in, and just your mainstay Republicans, was cool. The problem was he hit them with things that like your conservative Christians wanted to hear, like there's no killing babies and stuff like that, right? That's what they wanted to hear. And that's why they voted for him. But he said he was going to do this with taxes, and the tariffs was going to do this, and even with this new thing about the tariff checks. Fact check that. It's talking about everybody's going to get some $2,000 check. That, sir, I think they said would cost some, I don't remember whether it was 330 or 300 billion, right? To give everybody in the United States that size check. But whatever the number was, what he made off the tariffs did not match that number for you to just be giving it away. I'm just saying. So, yeah, you have to make sure that you understand what it is that you're watching and what it is that you are consuming by what you are watching. That means on your big screen, whether it's 64 inches or whether it's 4 inches, it doesn't matter. The smaller screens are more dangerous than the big screen. Not a lot of people watch TV as much as they scroll on their phone, right? They call it doom scrolling for a reason, right? So let me wrap that up. Pay attention to what you consume. If you are, into your diet, and understand that it's diet and exercise, not just diet, not just exercise. And I am talking about working out now. When you're trying to work out, it's diet plus exercise that gives you the best gains and the best growth and the best future, right? But at the same time, your diet is not just what you eat, but what you consume. All right. Next. Grab a drink. Wealth. Let's talk about wealth. Wealth is the wealthiest person is not just the person that has the most money. The thing about having a lot of money is the fact that it frees up the thing that you need the most. Not the thing that, I ain't gonna say the thing that you need the most necessarily, because that's not necessarily true. It's, to me, the most important thing that you can have. And thus, why I get so upset and frustrated when this thing is taken from me and or wasted. Time. Time is the most important commodity. Time is more important than money. Time is more important than health. Time is more important than pretty much anything. And I'm gonna prove it. I mean this for me. This may not even be for everybody, but take the test. All right. So if I told you that I would give you $1 billion, right? Tell you I'm gonna give you $1 billion today. But in 48 hours, you had to die. If you accept the $1 billion, you're going to die in 48 hours. Would you take the billion? There's caveats to this. Well, shoot, if I'm about to die anyway, if I got a terminal illness, hell yeah, I'm going to take that. I'm about to die. I was going to die in 6 months anyway, but I was going to die broke. Now, at least I get to die rich. This is generational wealth to my family. I can leave the rest of this money to my family. Okay. So in those types of very specific situations, you might take the billion and agree to die in 48 hours. But if you got long life ahead of you, it's like, I got to die in 2 days to get this. Yeah, no, I'm cool. I can't even enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I'm 35 years old. I can't even enjoy it. I'm 55 years old. I'm still trying to enjoy this billion. I can't even enjoy it. I got 2 ways to enjoy a bit. Nah, I need longer with that Billy Club. I need a little bit longer with that Billy Club than 2 days. Nah, I'm cool. All right. So answer that. If you had the opportunity to get $1 billion, but you would die in 48 hours to get this $1 billion, would you want it? That's one. So for me, that proves time more important than money. If I told you that, if I told you I'd give you $1 billion, right? But you would get the most painful disease and illness known to man, to where every bone, every vein, every molecule and atom in your body would hurt from now until the day you die, and there's nothing you can do about it. You would be bedridden and in pain for the rest of your life, however long that is. Would you want the money then? If it cost you your health? That's a toughie. Not for me. Maybe tough for you. Not for me. I stay broke and healthy. I'm good. Right? So for me, wealth is not money. It's the ability to do what you want with your time. Wealth means wealth means your time is free to do whatever you want. You have the means, because it's not really even about the money. I learned this a while ago, though. It's not even about the money. Money is irrelevant. It's the resources that you need for real. Money can buy resources, but if you cut out the middleman and get the resource, you don't need the money. True or not? So, wealth is what you don't see. Can't see time, right? But you can see my attitude when you waste mine. I can't stand my time to be wasted. That's why I don't like small talk. That's why I listen. Don't play with my time. Don't mess with my time. My time is precious. I got like 20 some odd, 30 some odd summers left, man. Let my time be. Don't waste my time. I can't stand that. That's going to irk me. So, wealth to me is the ability to do what you want when you want with your time. That to me is wealth. And for real, when it comes to money, like even actual physical money, right? The only difference between someone with money and someone without it, to me, is this. when you don't have money, uh things that are deemed emergencies become extreme because you don't have the money to pay for all the things that you need, right? When you have the money, what to a person would be an extreme emergency, to you is just a mere inconvenience. That's the only difference. Emergencies to poor people are just inconveniences to people with money. That's it. Next, I learned this. I actually learned this. They call it what they call a trial by fire. Uh, Comfort is a trap. You know, comfort, comfort is a trap. Comfort is the enemy of growth. When you're comfortable in a thing, right? That thing may tend to not be as important to you because you're so comfortable in it, right? If we're going to stick with the workout, if I'm comfortable with my workout, if I'm comfortable with the amount of weight that I can lift and I'm comfortable with the amount of reps that I can lift it with, right? My growth is limited. I'm not going to grow because I'm going to stay with the weight and the reps that I'm comfortable with. So if all I lift is 205, if I just stay at 205, I'm really not going to get strong enough to lift two and a quarter, 315. I'm never going to get to three. Well, I ain't going to say never, but it's going to be more inconceivable for me to get to 315 if all I ever lift is 10 reps at 205. I'm going to get under this two and a quarter and not know what to do with it. I may not be able to lift that 10 times straight, right? I may struggle because I've allowed myself to be so comfortable at 205, right? So it's kind of like that in life too. Like when you get comfortable in your job, when you get comfortable in your relationship, when you get comfortable in your surroundings, right? Say you're in a bad place, right? Say you're in a bad place. And I don't mean a bad place in your mind, I mean physically in a bad place. If you live with someone who is abusive, but you've gotten comfortable within that abuse, if you are in prison, right, and you've gotten comfortable within that prison setting, right, that's dangerous. Both of those scenarios are dangerous, right? Because you're allowing yourself to be comfortable with toxicity and you're allowing yourself to be comfortable in a dangerous situation. Neither of those things are good, right? So, um, yeah, I learned a long time ago that the more comfortable you get with a thing, the more lackadaisical and procrastinatory you get, right? So you have to shock your system every now and then, right? You gotta shake it up. Uh that may mean if you're lifting 205, that may mean going down in weight but going up in reps, or that may mean going up in weight and going down in reps, just so you're not plateauing, just so you're not comfortable, right? Just a thing. Um, you, what time is it? 8:40. Okay. You are not your thoughts. Thank God. Thank God. I am not my thoughts. Here's why I say that. If I was my thoughts, it'd be a whole lot of people on the road that would be dead. Because listen, that is not good for me to say. That is the truth, though, right? That is the truth, you know, because when somebody cuts me off, or I saw a dude, I saw a dude today. He was in a blue SUV, a sky blue SUV. I see him in my rear view mirror. He is way back there, but he's whipping. He gets to this side of me, flies by me, gets in front of me, gets in this lane, flies by. He's doing, I kid you not, he has to be doing 70 and a 40. How do I know this? I don't. I'm guesstimating because I was doing 50. I was doing 50 and a 40. So, and he went past me like I was still. So he had to be moving, right? So he flies past me. I see it coming, right? I see it coming. There's a uh it looked like it wasn't, but it was the kind of van that like the US Postal Service be driving, those long kind of odd shaped looking vans. It was coming out from a side street, thinking to itself, more than likely, there's no way somebody's going fast enough to be able to hit me. I can make it into traffic, and kind of blend in the traffic. No, my man is going uh hyper speed, right? I'm like, oh, they gonna hit each other. He gonna hit him. And I still don't know how they didn't hit. I do not know how, like, I'm bracing myself for, evasive maneuvers, because I just know they are about to crash into each other, and I'm not that far behind it, right? I was far enough behind it to, be able to safely get around it and go off the side and get out on James A. Reed and take my butt home. But, I just knew they were going to crash. They did not. Tell me what. Tell me why originally I was upset. Tell me why originally I was upset that he didn't hit that he didn't that is dump. And then I caught myself. While I believe, and this may be the Libra in me, this is dark Libra, but while I believe that it would have been justice for him to crash, I would have rathered he crashed into a pole, not another car. Because while I believe it may have been justice for him to crash and destroy his car, it would not have been justice to crash into another car and endanger these people's lives. Or in that case, that person, right? Because it was only one dude in the car. So if I were my thoughts, yeah, he'd have crashed into a pole. Because that's what I was thinking. I hope you crash into a pole. Is it right? Didn't say it was right. I said that's what I was thinking. And if I was my thoughts, that blue SUV would be wrapped around a pole. Period. When people do dumb stuff on the road, I'll be thinking, See, that's how people get shot in Kansas City. That was the thought. Am I my thoughts? No. Did I plan on shooting anybody? Absolutely not. But that was the thought. And if I was my thoughts, they'd have been shot. That's what I'm saying. You are not your thoughts, no matter how dark or whatever your thoughts are. And on the obverse end, no matter how bright you think your thoughts are, you're still not your thoughts, right? You are your actions. You're not even your intentions. Damn your intentions. You know, it's not even about your intention, which is another thing that I wish I knew when I was younger, right? It's not about your intention, it's about the impact of your intention. You may have had in your mind the best of intentions for whatever it is that you wanted to do. But what was the impact? What was the ultimate impact of that intention? Was it positive for everybody or not? So you're not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts, but you are not your thoughts, right? And you don't have to believe everything your brain tells you, right? Because your brain is going to tell you what you consumed. Your brain's going to feed that back to you. It's going to feed to you what it is that you consumed, right? So there that is. What else? Um, what time is it? Okay, here's the last one. And this is one that is near and dear to my heart. I actually did learn this quite some time ago in psychology. Um, Anger is a secondary emotion, right? So for people who seem like they are just mad all of the time, they are not, right? Because I thought that's how I was. I felt like I was just mad all the time, you know? And it's like Cat Williams said, you mad at breakfast? You mad, you mad over bacon? It's breakfast, my dude. You mad at breakfast? You mad over bacon and eggs and toast. That got you in your feelings. Yeah, no. All right. So if you get to the root of your anger, right? Because it is a secondary emotion, it's gonna break down to some sort of fear, some sort of hurt, some sort of feeling, right? That happened that kicked in the anger. Anger is a secondary emotion, which means it is the response to a stimulus, right? So you have goes to one of my other philosophies. Anger is the thing behind the thing, right? No, not necessarily. Anger is actually the thing in the front, but it is stimulated. The thing behind the thing. This thing right here is anger. This thing right here is what initiated or created the anger or the angry situation. This right here was um a delinquent boss. This right here was a nagging girlfriend. This right here was an abusive boyfriend. This right here was a traumatic thought from your childhood. It was anything. This right here was when uh the girl in first grade told you that she liked a dude named Donald and didn't like you. That is a real thing that really happened. That is a real thing. I was heartbroken. I was 6. That is a real thing. For like, hold on. I'm gonna say until I was about in my 20s, I couldn't stand people named Donald. If your name was Donald, I did not like you. that, that's that is a true story. I am not. That is not an example. That is not a euphemism. That is the truth. I did not like people named Donald until I was like 26 because because of what happened when I was 5. Real, listen, I'm telling you, it's a real thing. That is a real thing. So hold up, got a message. Oh my god, you must have just tuned in because I said that earlier. So the that's absolutely correct, right? That's absolutely correct. Uh but there is a quote that's attributed to a lot of people, and honestly, I really don't know who the actual originator of this quote is. I always thought it was the Buddha. That's who I thought it was, but Buddha may have just been one of the ones that used this quote, but I always attribute it to him. So it may be some anonymous type stuff. I might have to look that up to see who actually said it. But uh and in this he may have said this what I'm about to say, but it may, it's been various translations, but the thought manifests as the word manifests as the deed develops in the habit, and the habit hardens in the character. That's what I was saying earlier in the show, right? And so, that all being the case, you have to watch your word and the way that your words impact other people and things, and even affects you. You have to watch your words with care, right? So watch your words and your ways with care to make sure that you are not harming others or yourself. So boom. Um yeah, so that's it. These are just a few things that I was thinking about today that I wish I knew when I was younger. Uh And even though I may have known some of these things when I was younger, I may not have applied them the way that I do now, right? I didn't have the kind of boundaries when I was younger that I do now. My usage of the word no would come when I'd reached a point. And unfortunately for others, I'm a Libra, and they may not really know how Libras get down. You know what I'm saying? And so pay attention to what a Libra says. Because we're telling you, hey, uh, mind your steps, you know, like tread lightly on this particular thing, or hey, be careful how you handle me, you know, because that didn't feel good. But at the same time, Libras are very long suffering people, so there that is. Uh, P Jizzle, what's up, bro? Hey, you would tap in at the end of the show, jerk. Uh, so, um, so yeah, that's really all I just want to talk about during the show. To offer some words of wisdom from things that I have a better understanding of and a better grasp of now than I did when I was younger, but things that I wish that I understood better when I was younger. Thanks for tuning in. I have so much work to do. When I tell you, I have at least 20 short films on deck, right? I'm not kidding. Where's my board? Hold up. Nah, I ain't. Well, yeah. These are not even all of them. Can't even get them in focus. Those aren't even all of them. That's like 16 of them, you know. That's like 16 of the short films that I got. I got over 20 of them that I want to shoot eventually, right? There are realistically about, out of that list, out of not just that list, because that's the incomplete list, out of the list of about 22 short films that I have scripts for, out of the 22 that I have scripts for, right? This is only one. Out of the 22 short films that I have scripts for, I say about 18 of them. Yeah. About 18 of them are proof of concepts, right? Meaning that they are short films that are basically scenes from a larger feature film, right? That I'm turning into film festivals to try to get some acclaim and some donors and some investors so that I can make the feature film, right? But I have to prove that my concept is solid enough to be able to attract viewers to watch it once it becomes a feature film. That's what the proof of concept short film is for. That's why I have so many short films, right? So that is also why I couldn't get sleep last night, thinking of locations and plots and twists and different crap like that. So there that is. But that's what I got going on. You can see my new logo for my production company up in the corner. 3 Nomad Productions. Breakout Media Group is still a thing. Blue KC Videography is still a thing. But when it comes to the films, you're going to see 3 Nomad Productions, right? And so I thank you in advance for supporting the films, for supporting me, for supporting the podcast. I appreciate that. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you've been rocking with me for the years that I've been doing this show, welcome back. Thank you all for watching. And so with that in mind, tune in next week. Same notorious time. Same notorious station. It's been your man, Scrap the Film Guru. And until next Wednesday, I'm out. Peace.